part of life here, but yeah, I love opening up the windows and having it all open and really cold at night.
I I'm with you. I love it freezing cold at night. It's my wife does too. So that works out good. You know, if she
Yeah.
liked it warm and I liked it cold, that might be a problem. We both like it freezing. So
What state are
easy.
you in, Blake?
I'm in Kansas. So we get a good mix of all four seasons around here. We get a nice hot summer, cold winter, and
Hmm.
from time to time we get a decent fall, but
Yeah, it's a great state for hunting. Pheasants, deer. It's been
oh
even
yeah.
East Kansas or Western Kansas. We used to go up there all the time, every year, a couple times.
And just over in Missouri to the east is really good deer hunting. My buddy's got some land out there and he always gets a couple deer tags. And we'll go up there and he's got about 80 acres. And you don't really even have to move. You just go sit out in the blind and
Yeah,
they'll walk by. It doesn't, I mean, there's just so many deer up there and turkey too. Believe it or not, it's huge up here. Turkey.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Turkey, deer, and pheasants out there all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, what do we got for? We got to get into this disclaimer here, Jeffrey,
Yeah.
before we're talking
Yeah.
about the good stuff.
I'm zoned out today.
All right, I'll read it for the
uh,
first. All
yeah,
right,
I'll try.
folks. All trading involves risk. Substantial risk of loss. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, and fun only, and is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. If you desire personal financial advice, just learn to do it yourself. And having said that, we're having a great day. First thing I noticed jumping out at me was, you want to go through QQQ first?
I just, that's just the first thing I have up. I mean, it's just stuck right here. It's not breaking out, not breaking down. That's yeah, look how long this has gone sideways.
Long time, Jeffrey.
Look at that. All the way back over here. Like
I
we
don't think
basically been
anybody's used to this sideways price action. We've been trading this run up for the last 9 months. What the heck's going on here?
hey, since Halloween, basically we've been doing nothing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, why aren't all the trending strategies working? It's like the market quit trending. And that if you're, a trend pullback continuation trader like me, that means you got to be very particular about what you're trading.
Mhm.
So can't just trade anything because the market's not trending. Be careful out there.
That's for sure. It's really stock picker's market when it gets like this.
Tesla looked like it was going to pop, but then back to flat for the day.
Yeah, I sold the 1850 puts, as everybody knows. You think I'm going to get them today?
Maybe. There's a good chance. It's a good chance. Let's see.
I sold the 2050 calls against my other position, and I'm short the 1850s and the 1750s.
Let's see. 1850 for today. Right now, you've got an 85, 86% chance of taking them.
I'll take them.
And if anybody didn't know, many platforms have these things that you can turn on. This is ITM is in the money percent chance. OTM is out of the money percent chance. Touch is percent chance that that price will be touched. And you have all these other type things. I like to watch the pop number, the percentage of profit, which is not on here, but it is down here.
You ever
And
you ever use Thinkorswim, Jeffrey?
uh, I have, but I just, it just seems a little bit archaic to me.
Yeah, I opened an account at Tasty Trade a couple days ago and just funded it today. I like it.
It's just a
Pretty
trader's
nice.
platform. It has, all these buttons are just right here for doing things. Like if you're in your TSL position and you want to roll it, you have roll expiration or roll strike, and you can just click those buttons. And if you want to close it for a percent profit, you just click that button and it sets up the order. I mean, it's just, there's so many shortcuts on here that it just makes it super handy dandy.
Yeah, I like
It's
it a lot.
handy.
The more I've used it, the more I've grown to just like, I just like everything. And if something's not working the way you want it, there's settings that you can change and fine tune things and get the view you want, and set up your trade parameters and set up your order parameters, and um, there's just so many options for traders. I feel like it's a traders platform. They don't bother you with all the extra bells and whistles. They let charting platforms be charting platforms, and this is just a trading platform
That's why I
for.
like it. I don't want to do anything on it but execute trades, and I think it's the clearest one so far. I'm struggling with Thinkorswim. I just cannot get that thing set up right.
Yeah. I have people are like, oh, you just push control and alt and then click on the order. I'm like, why do I got to push extra crap? Why can't I just, click on the order?
No kidding.
And so I don't know. I'm not one for two-handed trading. I just like to click and get it.
Yeah, all right. DR,
Anyway,
first covered call on TSLL. Way to go, DR. Yeah.
yeah. I've got
So,
those four contracts I've been rolling forward with, and then I've got 5,000 shares that I've been rolling forward with. And my cost basis on the like 5,000 shares is down here at like, I think an average about 1150.
mhm,
So
you're in good shape.
I've got a pretty good buffer on the downside before
Yeah,
I'm in trouble.
awesome. I got to show you the craziest thing I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, you need
AS.
a screen. ASTS hit the target, baby. Like I told you, it's going that 114.
Well, I sold the 120 call. I bought the stock at, I don't know what I did, 80 something.
Yeah.
And then I sold the 82 strike price put, which is ridiculous. I just rolled that yesterday, the 82 put. Totally ridiculous. But I had this 120 call right after I bought the stock at 80 something. I put that 120 call out there thinking it'll never get there. And today, it'll never get there, right? There's no way it's going to touch 120. It touched 120 today. I was like, oh man, do not call me out. I want to ride it a little more. I saw some killer news, and this one's going to be really good.
At the moment, you've got a 22% chance of getting called out.
Dang. I'll take it. I'll take the call out because it's just run up hard. Yeah, I got this thing boxed in good with a 120 call and an 82 put. I like it.
Well, that was my pattern. I mean, 75% chance once we set up that candle entry right there that we were going to touch this. 75% chance. And there we are. Like, worked again. I just love this pattern. Like it just works out. Uh, can I explain why? No. It's this orange line acts as a support and resistance. When we bounce off of it, close above the 618, 75% of the time, we will go from, once we enter right there, 75% of the time we will get to that purple line. A 70% chance we get on up to 125 at the green line there. So it's just amazing how this works.
It is. It
It's a
is.
high probability pattern in the market. People talk about high probability all the time. I have literally hundreds of thousands of trades that I've tested and traded and all sorts of things. You know, the average, once this pattern works out, 75% of the time we will go touch that purple line. 75. That's a high probability pattern to me. That means 25% of the time, though, we fail, and the stop is always $1 below the low on this pattern. So, I
Well,
mean,
not just 75%, but when it does work, it works big. The profit is big, right?
yeah,
It's not like,
usually, I mean, it's not, I mean, sometimes the pattern's small and on lower price stuff, maybe you only have $1 between here, and you've got $1 between here and here. small little permutations. These ones that make big moves, like this went from 102 all the way down here to 50. And then when we triggered back here above 77, that meant 114. That was a big move, a really big move going from
Yep.
77 to 114. And that the ones that move big present more opportunity to make bigger money.
Yep. This is going to be a good wheel stock for me.
And Rocket Lab is another one that was making big swings. And I played this one a little more aggressively because it looked like it was going to go pretty quick. I did a 70 long call and an 80 short call. Cost me $1.98 when I got into it. When we triggered right back down here, $1.98, and I closed that for $7. That was a pretty good little trade.
Yeah.
I did it
great.
pretty aggressively. And it played out quicker and it's still running. So it's crazy.
I bought a little bit of this right before the close yesterday and just made out like a bandit this morning, but I'm going to stay in it. I rarely get a 6% pop overnight, but I'm going to ride this one a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this space robots, this stuff has room to run, I do believe, here
Really?
in 2026.
I totally agree. And that one's got a lot of action in it. Got a great story today. Got awarded some contract. Didn't the press release is like 2 pages long and it never mentions $1 amount. It just keeps talking about, the contract, but it doesn't say what it's worth. So that's hard to tell, but they're making inroads. Some of this stuff's really going to come to fruition.
Let's see.
Oh, there it is, 1.515 billion
There you go. 151 billion.
at stake.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I like it.
Doesn't guarantee contracts, but it leaves the company able to bid on $151 worth of work, $151 billion.
And that caused a 7% jump in a $43 billion company. Isn't that crazy?
Well, that's 15% right now. It's crazy.
That is crazy. A $42 billion company. That is crazy. But that goes to show you the unlimited potential of space, the final frontier. There's no way to put a real dollar value on some of this stuff. And when SpaceX comes out, it'll really shift the narrative.
Yeah, we're just starting into this venture. It's hard to put, like, for an industry that hasn't existed previously,
Yes.
at least not in the capacity that we're getting ready to roll out, because we're getting ready to put like humans on the moon, maybe permanently, and we're getting ready to put humans on Mars, maybe permanently. That hasn't existed before. So what's the dollar value of the maintenance and the supplies and the logistics and the transportation and what's the dollar value of all that? I have no idea. Like, we can estimate it all day long, but this could be, $100 trillion business, and it would just shrink everything that we know on this planet. And we're talking about, rolling out a whole nother planet, a civilization. So like, what is that worth? I don't know. It could be huge. And I think that's what the unknown is here between ASTS, Rocket Lab, potential of SpaceX and other players, Lunar, and there's just all sorts of players in this market, and it's hard to put like an upward cap on what this might be in the future. And I think that's why there's giant potential here.
Yeah, I agree too. I love it when you can't really put a cap on it. It makes for a lot of controversy and it'll be too high the valuation and it'll just go higher.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just one of those things, like, I don't know. As high as you can dream is as high as it could go at this point, because we can't even fathom what's going to be developed on this front at all.
That's why I like it. Love that stuff.
And then, if you want to look at hindsight for something that's, not the same, but a similar kind of situation, is the internet. Like back in the early, the late 90s, early 2000s, we knew the internet was going to be a thing. Like some visionaries would tell you, "Oh, it's going to be $1 trillion business," and people are like, "Whatever." And right now we have like what, $8 trillion companies that are worth $1 trillion or more, and that was unfathomable in the early 2000s. But now here we are, and the internet arguably hasn't even still matured fully. We're like on Web 3 or Web 4 or whatever it is, and we still keep finding ways to make it even better and even slicker and even faster. And space internet now. And you know, I look at the space sector as kind of the same thing. Like we don't know how big it's going to go, how what kind of life-changing applications this is going to have.
Yeah, it reminds me of the internet. I was going to even say that before you brought it up. It just so much like that is that, what it is. We don't even know what it could be. And like unlike other businesses, other business models where you can see pretty much exactly how they make money, whether that's, you know, McDonald's or Walmart or whatever, you can see the whole business model. It's very clear. This is not clear at all. The future is totally not clear. And that gives it all that upside until it's proven that it's not.
And so that's where like the excitement around space and space robots kind of comes from right now. And I think that's why there's opportunity to participate in some of these as they ebb and flow, pick up the dips, sell the rips, and that's the orange line is called my market roadmap line. If you missed it, I have it on YouTube for free, but you can pick it up for $5. I'll throw the link in the chat here.
Speaking of selling rips, uh, after the show, I sold my clack.
Yeah,
Gotta look at clack.
yeah, that was ripping. It's just sitting there today.
Up another little butt. But that, when you people talk about when would you sell, right? When you get an abnormal gain like that, that's your sell signal right there. You don't need it to do any math. You could just look at it and say that is an abnormal move higher. And so I'm not going to watch it evaporate. And maybe I didn't pick the top here. I missed the top by $24 or $30.
Well, it depends
But
on where you got out, but
I
it
have to go back and look. I made a killing is my point on the stock. So it doesn't matter to me and I'll get back in, but like I say, it cannot stay at this price. There's just no way. It might even do a debit spread to the downside, which I did on SLV. I did that yesterday and that worked great.
and grinding off a little bit by a little bit.
Down to 79. My order filled. So I put my debit on for 55 and got out this morning at something. And, that's just like I called it ahead of time. This was going to cool off. And same thing, I sold my LRCX yesterday. Take a look at that high flyer. Yeah, that just, it still went
And
higher.
there's a lot of fluff in the market that just it. I have this feeling we're gonna rip a lot of the fluff and kind of rotate a little bit.
I
What
think
needs to
so,
rip.
based upon looking at the QQQ, a rising tide lifts all boats, and the QQQ is not a rising tide. So these boats that are ripping right now, they're going to get a real correction. And I still think we got a rug pull coming up. Uh, I just can smell it. I don't have any data to support it. It just looks like a rug pull coming up, and I wouldn't be surprised to see yeah, real good pullback here.
Well, see, to the point that you brought up before, when QQQ starts underperforming the S&P,
Look out.
and that's what we've got going on right now
Out.
from starting in December here. The Qs are underperforming the S&P.
And it really drops.
And if we see a pullback in Qs that is chased by SPY in a smaller way, that's when things can accelerate, is what Jack is saying.
Well, this is, my biggest haul, my biggest, quickest haul. I made out like a bandit in 2023. And the thing that tipped me off was my whole life, I look at SPY, QQQ, and DIA in relationship to each other. And if all three of those, the reason I do it is because I want to use a market-driven approach. If all three indexes are above my moving averages, then I trade bullish. If they're stuck between moving average, then I can trade long or short. And if they're below all three, then I'm pretty much just going to go bearish. So when I saw that, you could just do it on Yahoo too if you want to compare charts, but
Oh,
saw the QQQ drop substantially below the DIA and SPY. That was my first tell. I brought that up on Ask the Pros that this is not normal, and it wasn't. And that was the prelude to a much bigger sell-off in tech, which is where I went after, as I say, the triple-digit stocks with no earnings.
and you can see the Q's basically flat. SPY up 2% and Diamond's up 4.4% for the year or since December, basically. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
starting to
all out of whack. That's completely out of whack.
it's almost reversed what it typically is. So um, this is kind of a warning light if on the dashboard of the market.
It is. The planets are not in alignment, and that means chaos. It really is funny too. There's only 30 stocks in the Dow, and those are like the most boring names on the planet. But when those things are leading, wow, S&P 500 has a good mix of all kind of stuff, and the QQQ is like pure tech. But when you got that old boring stuff leading, man, there's money coming out of QQQ high tech stuff, profit taken, and they're rolling it into Johnson and Johnson and all the other junk.
That's
Got to be. This is not like close your eyes and buy everything type market.
yeah, this is you got to be careful. We're seeing, I was talking about that this morning. We're seeing a lot of rotation into, consumer goods that have to be bought, and Walmart is at a ridiculous price to earnings right now.
Isn't that crazy? The thing just went over 100 and then just went on a straight tear.
And this thing is not known for making giant big rips, but since 24, we've been doing it as the consumer is
Look at
trading
that.
down and having trouble.
What a great trend that is.
But it's likely to come to an end at some point.
I'd love to see it. I mean, I believe when you get a stock that's 95, $96 a share and it's trending higher, it's going to hit 100. There's some stat I read on that somewhere. And I play Walmart like that, but now, it's 18% over that. So I'm not going to get in. But if this thing pulls back, I'll buy it. It's a money machine, but it needs a little cool off. A lot of stuff does.
I mean, look at that 41 price to earnings right there.
High.
41 years of earnings to justify the current price. But their sales is only 1.36 price to sales.
That's a low valuation there. So yeah, that just goes to show you how you measure a company by one metric, it tells you one thing, and by another metric, it tells you something else.
And their COGS, cost of goods sold, is extremely high. They spend a lot of money to make to get the revenue.
Make the
So,
pennies.
and their gross profit relatively small, and that's what makes this price to sales. They move a lot of product to get a little bit of earnings.
You got to move a lot. It's a volume deal.
So, what's interesting though, you compare it to something like Amazon that moves arguably a large amount of goods also, but they also have AI plays and stuff like that. Their revenue compared to their COGS, much better shape. Their price to earnings sitting here at 33 instead of Walmart's 41. And then you go look at the chart, and it's been treated like it's big tech. It made a rip back here in 24, but it's just been churning for a year.
It's total laggard.
So if this is actually, making money on the consumer staples stuff, where is it in their stock price like Walmart? Just not seeing it.
Walmart's a beast. People think Amazon is a retail beast, but Walmart is, man, they're total power. It's like all you would want to do in retail is just Walmart.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I see a lot of Amazon trucks drive by every single day, and you look at their cost of goods sold and moving $138 billion worth of cost of goods sold, and Amazon moving $88 billion worth of cost of goods sold. So looks like Walmart does move more goods. They've got grocery on lock compared to Amazon. All their superstores have sell groceries, and they moved into that space a long time ago. And Amazon's still trying to catch up, still trying to get their grocery game going. You know, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. It seems like
Yeah, it's hard for Amazon to do groceries.
Amazon's just kind of lagging behind a little bit as far as it ripped, hasn't really ripped. And even other big tech things that have broken out, it's kind of like how Tesla is sitting here underneath the breakout. This one tried to break out and then got smacked back in the face, and it's just sitting here, hadn't
Can't,
really pushed higher
yeah, I
in the last
sold,
year.
I've owned it forever and I just sold it when it just started dogging out.
So lots of churn, but no trend. No trend. How would you build a position? You could, come in here and sell puts and start accumulating shares.
That's
What price?
the best way to build a position right now is sell a cash secured put.
What price would you want to pay for Amazon that you feel like has great value? And that's your put price. That's your put strike.
Well, first I do it in Walmart rather than Amazon, and I
Yeah,
try to get
well,
the bones.
so Walmart, what's a good price? And I clicked on SMT instead of WMT. What's a good price? Would you think 105, 104, 100? And what pullback would get you interested in being in Walmart?
Around 100.
So that would be the strike price. All right. That would be where you want to get in. So this is, a lot of people have trouble with this. It's like, what price, when you look at the chart, when you look at the data, when you look at all the numbers, what price would make you think like you got a deal on a stock? And if your answer is 100 for Walmart, then you come in here and you start looking, and like the ones that expire today, nothing. Ones that expire next week, still nothing. You may have to go out here a few weeks. This is the Warren Buffett way, basically.
For a month. Yep.
You're starting to see a little bit 2 weeks out. Jump out here to the next monthly.
And the
There we
reason for
go.
this is because there's no volatility. But now we're talking, I'll take 32 bucks.
We're starting to talk about, $32 on a 100 strike. That's not too bad.
Was
That's
that
just
your,
for a do what?
did you hear that bell? That wasn't yours?
That's you, man. That's all you. I don't have any bells that come through on the.
Every time I got an open order that gets filled, I hear the ding.
Yeah, I've got all my sounds blocked out. So unless it's me talking or my phone ringing, then you're not gonna hear it. So, but
I need
yeah,
to remind me I got a trade out there.
you better put your note in there.
Yeah, so this is
And
how you do it. Walmart's not that volatile, so you got to go out in time. If it was more volatile, you could play it quicker. But if you wanted to, that's just my opinion. I'm not doing that. It's just my opinion. No financial advice is given or implied, but that would be how I would do it. I like it at 100 or less. I don't know if it'll get down below 100, but I would take it at 100. And in the meantime, I'd get paid to wait. That's what I love about selling the put, is that you're going to get paid up front to make a promise that I'll buy it at 100.
now another way to do this would be to set an alert at a support zone, like a recent consolidation. If we go back down there, you would put your note in here, like in the messages to yourself, look at selling a put at or below 100. And then you've got your note in here. And if that fires off, and you can even put a date on it, like when you wrote that, just in case it, goes ripping and doesn't come back here for 2 years. And then it fired off 2 years from now. And you're like, what the heck was that? I don't remember that. Like if you had the date on it, you'd remember why. But I do this. I do stuff like this all the time. Like look at selling a put below, at or below 100. That's where I thought support was. Now, if we get down to there, maybe down in the 90s actually has better premium. So that's why at or below.
Yeah, I'd take it down there.
Now, once you get into a position, you can put alerts like that on the chart too. Like, hey, we got up to this price. Look at selling a call. Or, hey, we got down to this price. Look at adding another, position or whatever it is. Look at closing. If you have a target on the chart, I do that all the time. Is on Rocket Lab, I had a target at 81 that said, hey, when we hit 81, look at closing your call spread. And I did. So reminders on the chart to me help me remember what the heck I was going to do when we get to those price levels. So if you didn't know you could do that, when you set an alert, you can go in there and edit the text and write yourself notes. Yeah, this one's probably not going to hit now. Close that, delete that one.
That's an awful lofty move Rocket Lab has made.
Yep, a lofty move. Now, I want to see it come back to the roadmap line, but at this point, that's too high for me to do anything with. So I'm just going to move on, look for other opportunity for now for me.
Me too. I got a little long position. I'm going to see what happens, but I'm not using it for the wheel.
Yeah. So what is Walmart has earnings or pays dividends? I don't know that I don't understand that question, but it pays a dividend of 79 and it has dividends, has earnings all the way out here in February.
It's a much longer term play too, because the beta is so low. You're not
Yeah.
going to get premium, so you got to take a longer term view.
Yeah, this would be a growth play, not necessarily like this would be a
Wheel
long-term growth play, not necessarily just a churn in premium at high beta type play.
would not work for the wheel for me.
So, I have fair luck doing them, but usually I make my trades around earnings to be able to get the bigger paydays. It's like on Chipotle, grinding this roadmap line. I want to see it get through and get on the upside, then get above the 618 and make the bigger move up. I've been in it since back here. Oh no, I'm underwater. And I've actually added to the position and my cost basis is right here at 43. So I'm not far underwater actually right now.
Well, the underwater part, when you're doing it the way you do it, it really doesn't matter because it's an unrealized loss, people.
Right.
So you can continue to cash flow this thing. And that's the main thing. And in addition to cash flowing it, as he sells calls or buys more puts below, he's bringing his cost basis down, which means he's going to hit a profit sooner.
Yeah, I just keep working it is the big deal. I mean, that's the big main idea here is just keep working premium. Don't give up. Don't stick your head in the sand. Don't close it. I've got the shares. The shares are the asset. That gives me the ability to take and cash flow those shares, keep reducing my cost and work it back into profit. And eventually, I think Chipotle is going to cruise on up here and make new highs.
It is. Have you ever eaten it?
No, I've never even been. Well, I took my kids in one in Charleston one time, and they went to the bathroom, but I've never been in one that to order anything.
No, I don't know if there's one around here or not. I'm sure
I'm sure
there are.
there's like one everywhere, but I don't know. There's one out in the west part of town, I think, here, and Hood probably doing the pattern that I said. I've talked about this for a little while, Jack, and so far so good. It's coming on down to the target area.
90?
At 80, high 80s, low 90s.
I'm
I mean,
long, folks. I'm long and I got calls sold against it.
I mean, I talked about this. I've been warning you about this move since October.
What have I done? Nothing.
Yeah. You just kind of like, yeah, you've just kind of been like, I'm just going to stick with it. And
Well, the one piece is like it's $77, right? So I'm just gonna let it ride. And then the other one, um, a little bit higher, but I've been selling calls against that since we've been doing it.
now this pullback can complete at any point, just dipping below this low right here. This is the, I draw these targets on here. This is an ideal spot, but anything below this, any touch below this low that we made right back here at Thanksgiving, US Thanksgiving time, any touch below that can wrap this up and send it soaring again. So this is where why I don't play the downside necessarily is because the market has this overall bias for going higher. And you never know when sentiment just changes and we start going higher with the rest of the market. So I'm not playing hood to the downside. If I was looking to sell puts and get in at a great price, anything under this low from back here at Thanksgiving would be a good price. Down here especially would be a good price. But anything under there, if you're trying to, get put hood, these are some levels to look at. Somewhere down here, anywhere below 102, 103, anywhere below 90, be a great place to get in because the potential to go higher again is very high once we get down to support and make a bottom and turn. And we break through this downtrend of highs, and then it's off to the races again.
Yep. I got a longer term view on this one as well, not just to trade like my other stuff.
Now this, for those that maybe haven't been here and haven't seen my commentary on this pullback right here and this pullback up here, similar in size, especially on the logarithmic scale. That's where it really comes into play here. This pullback starts being the same size all the way down here at 70. So we could see this get continuation down in here, possibly as low as this, and it just be the same size pullback we did last year. Now, Jax, you've been pretty adamant that you don't think that's going to happen, but we haven't really on higher since October either. So just been sitting here consolidating. Big moves, take a resting period. We can only go higher for so long, and then we have to rest. Once we rest sufficiently bum everybody out, we can go higher again.
And the steeper the line is to the left, the more you can bet it's going to come down that far red line to the left, like silver. That's not a sustainable trend. But I got a longer term view in this, and I'm okay with whatever happens with it. I'm in it for years.
Yeah, I had played it just full disclosure, I played it back here in some volatility, got caught, got to sit through this, and then when we came back up in here, I was finally through selling calls and stuff like that. I was finally well into the profit, and I closed it on a new all-time high right up in here, and I haven't looked back. So I cash flowed it all the way through and all the way back up and then got out.
Beautiful. I'm sticking with it. Puts,
So
calls, and long a little.
it was one of the better performing plays I did last year, actually. Riding it right in here at the beginning of the year, right up in through here, selling the contracts and stuff against it. And then if we get another nice pullback, I'll probably consider getting back in again down in here. So that's just, I'm a trend pullback continuation trader. So I need the pullback. It's just my pattern, and it's been good to me over the years, and that's what I stick with. So getting close to bumming Chris out. The market's good at that, sufficiently bumming everybody out, and then it'll go tearing higher again. That happened on Chipotle. Sufficiently bummed the market out, and then we started climbing higher. Yeah. Everybody's talking about how Chipotle might be going back down in the low teens or even the single digits, and then what do you know? It starts climbing.
Same thing. The bum out and fly.
Flies sufficiently bummed everybody out, and traders leave it for dead, and then it reverses right at the bottom.
I'm going to get called out on my 32s today. It wasn't there when we started the show.
I told you, man. This is going for 37.
Dang, dang, dang. I don't want to get called out at 32, but it
Yeah.
looked like it was never going to happen, back when I got it. But this space stuff, man. It's got a lot more loft to it. It can launch quick. No pun
You
intended.
got, you got a 71% chance right now with the volatility today.
Called out.
Yep. 71% chance. That's what the market
That's,
says.
you know, if I get called out, I'll take it. I've been so dang lucky. If I get assigned a stock on a cash secured put on Friday, then Monday the thing's up good. And if I get called out of a stock on Friday, on Monday I can get back in for less. I've just the timing has just been amazing. Pure luck. I don't plan on getting assigned or exercised or have it called away and then getting in cheaper on Monday, but that's just been the way it's been going.
Um, so market roadmap for 3 months, I will give you a weekly watch list of stocks that are set up to do the market bounce. Let's see. I'll just pull up a list real quick and show that off from this week. Stuff like Amazon, it won't necessarily have the entry, but this one did have the entry. Turn it on right there. The bounce had the entry for going higher. Stuff like Baba, this one came up, didn't quite trigger the entry. So I give you a weekly watch list for 3 months. After 3 months, you don't get the watch list anymore. That's what for 3 months. If you want to add 12 months, it's like $19 to add 12 more months of that. It's like the cheapest thing I offer that has huge value, I feel like, because this is just an amazing pattern right here. 75% likely to continue. And now you don't have to pay for it. Like I said, I give it away for free on my YouTube channel, jeffreytrader.com/YouTube. I give you the code for free. If you want the easy button, that's the way to get it. And in the mornings, I give out stocks that are set with this pattern, these setups. Now, the difference here is these don't necessarily have options on them. But here's that high probability pattern right here. There's the high, here's the low, there's the entry, target right up here, 108. So, all right, Jack. Didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just
No, no, no.
try,
That's good
trying to
stuff.
answer the question.
Stuff you didn't interrupt me.
So, yeah, fly. I didn't add any option yesterday. Maybe I should have because of that pop today. Would have been pretty spicy, but I was looking at my option that expires today, and I was like, I don't want to double up on the cash just in case something goes bad tomorrow. Um,
But this is a classic case of a stock whose price per share bummed everybody out. That's our new technical term.
Sufficiently bummed everybody out, and
That's
then
bummed everybody out. SBEO. Yeah,
and
yeah. Sufficiently bummed everyone out. Yeah. And then
so
it goes higher. Yeah.
they
Uh,
turn and rip.
Turn and
And
rip with Fermi, yeah.
I was gonna say Fermi is, this is on my questionable list. Did it bum everybody out, or are we about to take another trip down?
Well,
I'm
crazy
not sure.
thing. I got this thing boxed in. Okay, so I sold the $10 calls that expire today, and I bought the stock at 773 and 829, loaded up, and sold the tens. And then I sold. Before I did that, though, I did that. Then I sold the 750 puts. Then I sold the $5 puts. I still can't believe I sold the $5 puts. I mean, that's like there was a market for those. It was ridiculous. But you never know. It could get hit five. It could hit four, right?
Yeah,
Continuation pullback.
this pullback could be, we did this over here, and then we went down more. We're, potential that we're doing it right here, and we go down more. I'm not sure. Like this is why I haven't got in for me, myself, is that this reversal didn't quite convince me that this is it yet.
Yeah. But I've collected so much premium on it already that I'm just going to stay in it. It doesn't matter to me if it goes lower. If I get the stock, if I get called away at $10 today, I'm still going to get in and play it.
Now the big difference here between this and like your AVGO, you're probably in pretty light into Fermi, right? You don't
Yeah.
have, you're not loading it up with tens and 20, 30,
Oh,
40, $50,000 worth of risk, you're playing relatively small.
yes. Yeah.
So this
Just
is a
pure
downtrend.
a
This
failed
is,
IPO theory.
it is a downtrend, and Jack usually is looking for an uptrend to play this kind of thing, not a downtrend.
But this one
So,
is the same theme as Fly and Circle, is that they've bummed everybody out and they're about to turn the corner. That's not done
and
well out.
the circle,
That's
I'm not sure here. Like this,
not,
the way,
it's not going to turn. It's going lower. Yeah. See, there's so many failed attempts, right? Well, that very first attempt should have put it back to 112. You see that first where you
yeah,
blocked it off with the purple line? That should have continued right there. That should have gone to
yeah,
112. And
yeah. We should have
then
gotten continuation, but it
yeah,
failed.
it failed 4 times, 5 times. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4 is the red bar there, right by your
Yeah,
arrow.
1, 2, 3, 4 at least.
Where the arrow is, there's 4 in a row. It,
Yeah.
it so there's 4, 5, 6, 7 fails. That's a sign of weakness. There's a clear ceiling on this, but it's a totally failed IPO. The story's not out. Nobody really has a handle on it. And I was playing it because I thought it would turn, and I'm out of it now. I've got nothing going on. But that fit the profile of the failed IPO, looking for a big turn.
Yeah, I think we might come back down and retest the bottom here, and then we'll see. It right now it's convincing me that we're probably going to come back down and retest the bottom, and then we'll see what happens. Like, can we actually go from there, or are we going to have to find a floor further down in here?
Nothing about this chart is compelling enough to me to want to do a cash secured put or anything. There's nothing in that chart that excites me.
Just a big question mark at this point. This is starting to look like the same thing we did right up here, just on a smaller scale before we broke down more.
Exactly.
So it could be definitely be down here in the 50 area, and then we could be doing another similar bounce, and it could take another step down. So it's hunting a floor, hunting a bottom right now is what this kind of price action tells me. We're hunting a bottom, and 95% of stuff that does an IPO will make a bottom lower than the IPO. So it hadn't really gone much below the IPO price yet, but 95% of things that do IPOs will make a low lower than the opening day lows.
Now that hasn't happened yet, so this doesn't qualify as sufficiently bumming everybody out.
Yeah.
But look at Fly. Did that pattern, is that the same with Fly? Did it go
Well,
below?
Fly IPO'd way up here.
Yeah.
This was IPO opening day up here, and it never went higher. It was down, 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 and really bummed everybody out. It went from opening day up here in the 60s and 70s down here,
Wow.
lost 75% of the money.
Yeah, I didn't get into 20s.
I bet there's people suing.
There is. There's a new lawsuit out by Goldstein, Goldfinger, and Goldhead. They're doing a class action suit. I don't know how long that lawsuit's been out there on Fly, or if it's brand new. But same thing with Fermi. They got the lawsuit. I guess every time the stock drops like this relative to the IPO, the lawyers think that it wasn't in full disclosure. Otherwise, it wouldn't be $10, or it wouldn't have gone public at $36, right?
Yeah,
So the lawyer,
that one went from 30. I guess we opening day we're 25. We peaked out at 36, and then came all the way down to 7.
it's
So,
got lawsuit written all over it. It wouldn't be there if this was legit, is what the lawyers are saying.
and you know, it's not reality of IPO stuff though, because 95% of IPOs go on to make a low lower than opening day. 95%. So you could sue all you want. You can be bummed out about it, but get involved in an IPO, you're likely to catch downside. So 95% of the time, you can pick up an IPO for lower price than whatever it launches for. Now, that
No
doesn't
re
mean that Doesn't
until
mean that sometimes you won't miss a big rip like Beyond Meat. I know it's crap, crap meat, crap product, crap whatever. But if we go back here and look at the IPO, I'm gotta zoom way out here. This thing ripped for a good long while.
it did
It was a couple of years before we actually came down.
and figured out that it sucks.
Yeah, the hype lasted for a good while before, and that chart looks a lot like Circle right there, where we bounce. Then this went on up here, and then it rolled off.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that says they're coming back either, because this one is screwing around down here at $1. Talk
Well,
about one that got
when you do an IPO, there's two markets. There's one market for the people that you're trying to sell the IPO to, and that's a limited amount of shares. So they do what's called a dog and pony show and show it off to institutions and some retail traders. And they always want to have the price higher than maybe what the market will bear because that way they've gotten the company the most money it could get and the underwriter got the highest fee it could get. So they leave the shareholder holding the bag, I guess. But if you see, an IPO like that, Beyond Meat got ripped off relative to their IPO price because the stock soared after the IPO, meaning that it was priced too low. The company could have got more money if they would have raised that price on that IPO. It's a real balancing scale, but when they push out Fly, that was a space stock. Everybody got caught up in the fact that it was space when Fly came public. And Fermi, everybody got caught up in the whole, we're powering our own data centers. So they get caught up in the story, and the broker dealer sells you on the price, and then it doesn't hold.
but even big internet companies like Meta went down and made a lower low. We IPO'd right up here, and it went down here. And I remember this IPO. I just knew that, like, I was like, how does this thing make any money? You know, who who the devil's gonna pay? Like, they don't charge any users. Like, how would they make any money off anything? And I just didn't understand the future advertising gain. And it made the bottom, and then it hasn't looked back.
No, I don't think I've ever traded it in my life. I hated it when it was Facebook. It was really just for college kids or something like that, right? To put your face on it and have other kids find you,
Yeah.
uh, and to advertise to those kids and have that demographic for advertisers to say, hey, we got, 14 to 21 year olds. And then it just ballooned into this thing. But as far as jockeys go, I'm not sold on Zuckerberg at all. He lost billions of dollars making the move into the metaverse that never panned out. And now he's making another move. So
Now it's the
I
AI verse.
just think he's 100% lucky. And without that, without that base of people in Facebook, this thing would be nothing. Yeah, Figma. I tried this one too. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah. I told you I wasn't convinced, and here it is,
Yeah,
lower low again.
I did one little trade in it though. I made a tiny, tiny bit of money, but that is a complete uh, disaster. Is when you got that gap down and then you fill in the gap and then it goes straight down from there. There's no bottom here, folks. There's probably going to be a lawsuit coming up on this one. This one is really just software design. So, yeesh, that valuation got smacked. Was it 170, 140?
And made it all the way up to 143, it looks like.
Got to
And
be
down.
class action lawsuits against the underwriter and the company here. Misrepresentation. How could it not be, right?
I don't know. I mean,
What the lawyers are saying.
it's uh that's
And they
rough,
get
huh?
all the disgruntled shareholders, right? So they run the ad, they run a press release. We're suing Figma. If you're a shareholder and you'd like to talk about it, call us. Well, everybody's going to talk about it, call them because they're all upset that they're all underwater.
Yep.
So a built-in customer base right there. And then Can they litigate it and prove it was all BS in the prospectus?
So anyway, yeah, things like this happen. I mean, and was it F-Jet is another new one. This was a look at this chaos here. This one's probably going to make a lower low than opening day.
Yeah. What was the opening day? IPO?
Yeah, it looks like it IPO'd right around $10, ran up to 16 on opening day. A couple days later, it was up at 30. Now we're back at 11. And it's probably going to dip down below the opening day low at 6.
That looks ugly. If it was 115 or 111, I'd put a debit spread on it to the downside, but it's not a high enough price stock.
It's probably going to make a low down in here somewhere before we can find a bottom and build off of that. It hadn't even reported earnings yet, though, so who knows?
We don't have anything.
So I don't even have a roadmap line or anything here to play with. So this is just a roll the dice and see what you get on this one for me.
Too new, right?
Yeah, too new for me. I'll just there's plenty of stuff that's been around long enough that I can trade it with a roadmap line and a trend. And this right now the trend is nothing. Like that's the trend right now.
I can't find any reason to trade that thing. If it had a big sell off like Fermi or Fly did, then I'd probably look for a turnaround in it, but this doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah. So if you're finding value in this conversation, let us know. Jack and I like to provide value. If you're not, then let us know too, because we'll try to talk about something different on Monday.
Let's take a look at Goog. I have a trade expiring today that it just was almost too easy. I sold
Yeah,
the
you were at the 325, weren't you?
325 put and bought the 322.50 put. And so
325.
if you, I don't have anything to worry about here unless the stock comes down to 325 before the end of the day, which I doubt that'll happen. But if it does, I got a little backup plan. Yeah.
Yeah, Jack's gonna take the day off Monday. I'll probably be here doing something. We'll see.
What are you going to be doing when the market's closed?
Giving people opportunity to join some of my stuff.
All right. That makes sense. Well, yeah, I got the idea. Goog, I love this trend, but I got to admit to everybody that I cheated. Sort of. I used this new Jack in the Box thing that they pestered me to code what's in my brain and how do I come up with, since 2011, how have I been coming up with these credit spread trades? And I explained to them how I did it. And the good people put it into a program. And now, if you just open it up, it gives you 5 stocks every day that fit the profile and the criteria. And it's made my life so much easier because just to find one credit spread trade, and I put my own money on these every Tuesday, but just to find the one trade took at least a half an hour. And now it happens so fast that it still kind of scares me. What scares me about it is the speed and the breadth of it, right? It'll find five in a second. And if you type in any stock, if it has a good credit spread, it'll tell you what the credit spread is on that stock just by typing in the symbol. So it's been kind of right on and scary accurate. And I couldn't put a price on this tool if I had to. I'm not sure what the going price is, but if you like making money and you like being spoon-fed trades, you're going to love this.
That's right. And it's a great deal. So there
Thank
you
you.
go. It's a good deal. So check
Jack
this
in the
out,
box.
guys. Jack in the Box. We just ran this yesterday, had a bunch of questions. Jack demos it in here as well. So you guys will get a chance to see how it works and use it for yourself. So
Yeah,
thanks,
so
guys.
cool. Love this thing. And I love how the guys programmed it at our company. I just love how it looks, all of it. So yeah, dig in and show them that, and hopefully you'll take advantage of this and do what I do every week.
Absolutely. Well, I wish you guys a wonderful weekend, a
Yeah.
nice long one. Well, at least for you, Jack, not me and Jeffrey. We'll be here Monday.
I might check in. I gotta see. If I'm
Come
not
check
out on the
in.
boat, I'll check in. If it's
All
cold,
right.
I'll be on the show.
Fair enough.
All
All
right,
right,
Don.
guys. Yeah. Susan, I can send you a replay if you can't stick around. Here we go, folks. I'm going to stop.
That we develop tools and strategies to the best of our ability